Welcome to the African Alliance podcast, the Brilliant series, brought to you by the BRILLIANT Consortium's Community Engagement and Advocacy workstream. This series introduces you to the scientists, researchers, and community activists driving innovation and social progress across our partner sites. In each episode, we'll hear from those in the front lines, whether they're uncovering groundbreaking scientific discoveries or working to empower communities through grassroots activism. These conversations give you an inside look at how collaboration between science and community is transforming lives, challenging systems, and creating solutions that can change the world. In this episode, I'll be speaking to KEMRI's Joyce Ondego. These podcasts are really to share with communities and with the public to help people understand some of our work, the work that the Community Engagement and Advocacy work stream of Brilliant is doing, but also to help them understand what community engagement looks like from the perspective of the trial. And of course, you are a key member of that space, and we really wanted to engage with you and understand a bit more about your work, around what your perspective is on Brilliant, on what you're excited about in the first year of the work. We've just finished having a great discussion with Dr. Fred Sawe, who we spoke to more about the scientific strategy and approach to Brilliant's work as it relates to the Kericho KEMRI site. And so we're really excited to have an opportunity to speak with you. Joyce, could you tell our listeners, who is Joyce? Where does Joyce come from? Why did Joyce decide to be part of this sector, to be involved in research, to stand up for communities, to ensure that communities understand research and that researchers and scientists understand community? So if you can just take us through that journey and that path and really just introduce us to Joyce.
Joyce is from Kenya, Kericho KEMRI site. I became a community advocate to be a voice to people who faced stigma and discrimination due to their HIV status. This is because in the early days of the pandemic, my immediate family members succumbed to HIV because there was not enough information and treatment. The community stigmatized my family because of HIV, and my family was associated with promiscuity and HIV was considered a death sentence then. So my auntie became a victim of gender-based violence due to her HIV status and eventually thrown out of her matrimonial home with her children. And this left her with indelible physical, psychological, and emotional mark. She was socio-economically vulnerable, coping with HIV infection with no treatment during that time that made her life unbearable. Later, care and treatment became available and she was a beneficiary. I found myself in this space because of well-structured community work that had been occasioned by care and treatment programs in the region, which later opened a huge opportunity for research, hence making me both an activist for comprehensive community participation in research beyond care and treatment.
So Joyce, could you tell us how long have you been with KEMRI and what is your current role at the moment?
I have been working in Kenya Medical Research Institute for the last 20 years. I'm a Community Engagement Liaison Officer and a counsellor also. My roles include stakeholder engagement, participant recruitment, and retention. I also provide psychosocial support services to participants across all studies and administer study questionnaires in specific studies.
This is the Brilliant series of podcasts brought to you by the Consortium's Community Engagement and Advocacy workstream, introducing you to the scientists, researchers, and community activists at the center of HIV vaccine discovery. Today, I'm speaking to KEMRI's Joyce Ondego. If we look back at Brilliant, what can you tell us about the first year of Brilliant? You know, it's been just over a year now since last year, September, since the award was made. What have been some of the lessons and reflections you have from year one of your work around Brilliant and setting up the Kericho site and just doing the groundwork to prepare for Brilliant 001? We know our colleague Barak came to visit the site, and so he had a really great experience there, and we'll be profiling it in our first newsletter that will come out in the coming days. But if you can describe to us, how have you found the first year of the Brilliant work, setting up ground for 001?
So Brilliant was launched early in the year, and it was graced by the KEMRI Board of Management and well covered by the media. And the CAB members had a meeting with one of the Brilliant African Alliance representatives about the project plans moving forward.
In this broader picture of community engagement, can you describe to us how at Kericho community engagement happens? Is it limited to the CAB? Is it more than the CAB? Just describe to us, what can we expect to see in terms of community engagement at the site around Brilliant? And feel free to give examples of how you've experienced community engagement even before Brilliant.
Yeah, so in Kericho, community engagement is beyond research and beyond care and treatment, because we involve in our communities to know what we are doing in terms of research, care and treatment. And in Kericho, we incorporate stakeholders, decision makers, opinion leaders, the community advisory board, and the community gatekeepers in advancing research and building trust and autonomy in the community. So the community engagement also, we participate in activism, like during the World AIDS Vaccine Days, and we talk to the community about the work we are doing at the site, and also where science is in terms of looking for an HIV vaccine.
What has been the biggest lesson that communities have taught you when it comes to clinical research and trials? You've been doing this, you said, for many, many years. What's one of the most powerful lessons that communities have taught you when it comes to engaging them around research?
So the biggest lesson that I've learned, that it's good to have community buy-in, involve the community before any clinical trial, and let the community have the autonomy so that it becomes easier in implementing the trial in the community.
If you were to do one thing differently when it comes to engaging communities, what would that be?
I would still do what I'm doing, to do community buy-in and have the stakeholders involved, and the opinion leaders, because without doing that, the research approach may not be successful.
So moving forward into year 2 of Brilliant, what is the one thing that concerns you the most when it comes to community engagement and Brilliant? And what is the one thing that excites you the most?
Currently, the community, we do not have any concerns, but moving forward, I'm excited to be part of this, the Brilliant Discovery Trials, and the impact that it will have on our communities in Kenya.
And then Joyce, what is the one message you would like to give to scientists and researchers in Brilliant around community engagement?
The one message that I would like to give to the scientists about Brilliant in reference to the Kenyan communities is that Kenyan communities are diverse. We have 42 ethnic groups speaking different languages and inhabiting in diverse ecological zones that differ significantly in their cultural practices, and hence community approaches have to be tailored based on diversity.
Yeah, absolutely. That's such a great point around diversity. But it's been so wonderful speaking to you. This is not the last time we'll be speaking. We just wanted to touch base with everybody in year 1. And then, of course, in year 2, 3, 4, and 5, we'll go a bit deeper. We'll have conversations. We'll come back to the site. We know we'll certainly meet you at one of the meetings where we'll do some more conversations that we can record and share with communities, so communities understand that at the KEMRI Kericho site, there is somebody called Joyce, and Joyce is there standing up for communities and ensuring that communities' interests are reflected to the scientists, but also that the scientists and researchers are always aware of what communities' priorities are, because I think together in that way, we will get to this vaccine sooner rather than later. But it's just left for me to say thank you for your leadership, for your passion, and for all of the work you do at the site. And we look forward to engaging you on Brilliant in the coming weeks. You've been listening to the African Alliance podcast, the Brilliant series, bringing you these incredible stories of passion, innovation, and change that take us a step closer to an HIV vaccine. We're constantly inspired by the work being done by our guests, and I hope you are too. The work doesn't stop here. There's always more to learn, more to do, and more to connect with. Stay curious, stay engaged, and we'll be back soon with another inspiring episode, from pioneering scientific research to impactful community activism. The individuals we feature on this show are not just changing their fields, they're shaping the future. To learn more about the Brilliant Consortium and how you can get involved, visit africanalliance.org.za and follow us on social media. If you've enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and share the podcast so more people can hear these powerful stories.